Right, so this is one where we could find no evidence of a queen 3 days ago. So we've taken the honey off yesterday. As you can see, we've put the Varroa medicines on. Now Stuart's going to look through very carefully because we did find evidence of a drone-laying queen in the supers, but no evidence of the actual queen. So it's possible that she will have gone down through the clearer board and she'll now be in here. We have bought them a new queen and we don't want them to end up fighting, because a drone-laying queen is perfectly fit and healthy, she just hasn't been mated. And that's part of the trouble, because of course the bees go on pheromones and things, and they're not necessarily unhappy with the drone-laying queen. Sometimes they are. And they had done a queen cell, so they were trying to get another queen, so with luck. So Stuart's going to look carefully for any signs of eggs or anything, which she could have laid since yesterday, though we will struggle to see eggs laid since yesterday. The weather is not ideal, although it's beautiful. There's a strong breeze. Everybody's settled well, as you can see, having had their honey removed yesterday. They're working balsam, so they're still busy putting their own stalls in, and we will feed them, of course, soon. You can see the little smear of balsam pollen on their backs. We're quite near the river Julice here. Right, what have you found there, Stuart?
A defunct queen cell.
A defunct queen cell. Yes, we can see that this is a failed queen replacement, probably late in the year. The weather was against it. Just looking to see if they're on a Varroa floor. They are, yes. I don't remember if I managed to get it out and clean it yesterday. A Varroa floor with a slide. You can see down there's the metal mesh that a Varroa floor has at the bottom. The theory is that the Varroa drop off, but not ill. Have you, darling?
Yes.
But in drone cells again,
no,
not
in worker cells.
Oh, well, those look like drone, don't they? Where can you see?
It's not a drone cell.
Oh. Well, they weren't there the other day. You did look very carefully.
There was an egg in a
Queen cell.
queen cell.
Well, they're certainly not going to do that at the moment. Keep looking. Yes, so the theory is that the Varroa will fall off at times, bound to, aren't they, in the hustle and bustle, and they will then potentially drop through the Varroa floor and not be able to get back in again, so it decreases the number. Don't think it works very well. Another queen cell. They are desperate to make a queen, aren't they? Don't think it ever really worked, but what it does do is allow you to look at the slide underneath and check that whether you've got any Varroa falling off, so you can just keep an eye on things. And of course, when you've put any sort of meds in, you can then actually go, yes, it's working, they are falling off. So the other thing we find it does, we live in a very damp part of the UK, in Wales, just by where the clouds start going up over the Brecon Beacons. It's very wet here, and it helps keep the hives dry. Disadvantages can cause drafts. I mean, when we first started doing it, it worried me, but we've had them for years and I like them myself. They're not on every hive, but when we replace floors, they're always Varroa floors that we replace with slides. But we've got quite a few that don't actually have slides, and they still seem to do all right. You've just got to remember to close the pop holes if they haven't got slides. Cold's not bad for bees. What's bad for bees is wet. The eggs in every hole.
Dotted. One laying worker.
Do you think so? There's lots of eggs in a hole, is there, or?
No, there's just, she's laying half decent, but I don't think it's a thing.
Right. Usually drone laying workers lay a lot in a hole though, don't they? Anyway, keep on looking, see what you think. We've got her now. May not be ideal, but it may be a fingers crossed job. A good solution with drone, if you were sure it was a drone laying worker, you'd take it right up the field, shake it all out, brush it back. That's just a really old bee, isn't it? That's really dark. Of course, there are some viruses that can make them go dark as well, but we haven't seen any sign of viruses. There's always viruses in hives, just like with us. We're living with viruses all the time. It's when they get overtaken by them. I've got the queen in my pocket, keeping her warm. She's a dark bee. We never buy dark bees, but we did this time, just to give them a go. Also, because I think they're better. The darker bees, that most of our bees are quite dark. Anything in there?
There's 3 eggs in that one.
3 eggs in that one, right?
One laying worker.
Could be. Well, that's a good sign. They really do want to make a queen, don't they? That might be a good one to put her on when you finish going through. Yeah, so the queen is keeping warm in my pocket, having travelled from Northumberland yesterday, courtesy of Royal Mail, who are the only ones who will carry live bees. Another attempt at a queen cell there. Yep, all the signs are they want a queen. They can't make their own queen. It's something like the 16th-ish of September. It's chilly. Temperatures, they've got to be over 19 for the queen to be able to fly and mate. There are almost no drones around. Oddly enough, there's not even any in this hive, which is unusual. You normally get drones in a hive that's struggling. They could have got rid of them earlier in the season. So I don't think there's 2, 4, 6 hives in this apiary, and we didn't see any drones yesterday. So it's not a good time to be doing it. Because if it is drone laying worker or workers, Stuart won't be able to spot them. But the positive thing is, because they're still making queen cells, they haven't reached the point where they want to be Republican bees and do not want a queen. They do reach that point eventually where they go, no, they're just going to stay like this, and then it doesn't matter what you do, you cannot persuade them to take a queen. Yes, the reason you would take them up the field and shake them out is they say that laying workers are heavy and they can't fly any distance. So taking them away and shaking them out should get rid of the drone layers, the laying workers. And another one. And they will appear sometimes to be making, they'll have stuff in it, but they'll try and make queens out of drone brood, out of anything. They're just desperate because they know that they'll expire if they don't.
There's the odd drone.
Oh, you've got a single drone, have you? Sometimes drones will survive in a colony all over winter. I think it means that they're worried about their queens, but other people don't feel that. Who knows? Only the bees know that. So what are we doing, Cherub? You're going to look back through, or
I think give him the queen.
just let's give him that queen? Right. I'm going to get myself 2 Gimp pins from the top of this. Times like this you wish you didn't have to wear gloves.
Yeah, not making you wear gloves.
It was quite, and today I think I'd be quite okay not wearing gloves, but I really don't want to experiment. Having told you I didn't need a... I wish I'd brought those little pliers that we used last time, because we did have a bit of trouble getting the... Well, we've established that, my love. But what there is not, and wasn't, and hasn't been, and there was drone brood.
Yeah.
Right, I need your hive tool, and I'm going to struggle a bit. But they've got yellow fondant today, which I assume is what they call candy Pauline, which is a mixture of fondant and pollen. So what I'm going to do, when Stuart shows me the place where he wants the queen, I'm going to... I'm going to stick the Gimp pin into that crack, and I'm going to put a second one in, because if it falls, that can cause real problems. So that's 2. Those are good and secure. We've taken the bit of plastic off the bottom. Oh, I need to slide that down. Put that in there. And let me just move the bees out from underneath. There we are. Right, so in she goes. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Fingers and toes.
Yes. Fingers and toes crossed. So now now he's looking again. Put it back together.
No, I'm going right through to the back.
Okay. He's just going to continue checking and worrying, and now we'll worry about her for several days, and then we'll come back and have a look after how many days. You can see there's a scurrying to look at her. They have to eat their way through that pollen at the bottom, or fondant at the bottom, and then they can release her, but we don't want them to do it too quickly because they have to accept her as their queen. You can see they're excited, they all want to go and have a look. Ideally we'd like it if they could walk up and down the front, but there's never enough room for that. They can talk to her through the sides. Coming out very nice now. After this we've got to make a bit of room in the honey store, the superstore, and then go out and take some honey off and put some more clearer boards on.
The other way around.
We're almost halfway through, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. There we are. So now I'm going to put the meds back in. That's a good place to hang them. Ideally you want them to be able to walk all the way around, but that again never happens because they're just not neat enough. There we are, smoke them down a bit, not too much, don't want to upset that queen or get them back together. Stuart's going to try and just open that up a fraction. Oh, good luck, queen. There's a small wax moth. We don't worry about those because they're a big strong colony and they're really not going to do any damage. They do dreadful damage in little colonies. Let's have a look. Yes, there are some Varroa. There's one there, but there's not a lot. A couple over there, a couple there, yep. So the meds are working, but it's not erg. Look at all that Varroa. So that's good as well. And of course, the Varroa treatment on this one, with no closed queen cells, will work as well as it ever will. That's the ideal time to treat them from that point of view. And hopefully she'll be out in a few days and we'll be getting beautiful, clean winter bees from her.